A cool wind crawled through the valley beyond Telluride, Colorado, as my companions and I emptied the truck parked on the dirt driveway. We had recently started renting an old mining house built in the early 1900s. Most of the home had been renovated over the years, but there were still hints of what the house used to be. The exterior of the house was painted a vibrant yellow and had a dark red door. The yard was lush with green grass, aside from a few sparse brown patches that littered the ground. In one corner of the yard sat a worn-down gazebo, filled to the brim with landscaping equipment. I stood facing the house, admiring the unique charm it seemed to exude. Suddenly, I felt something hit my back and turned around. My brother William stood behind me, a box tucked under his right arm. "We should get a move on. We don't have all day," he said with a hint of annoyance. Yeah, I replied, heading toward the back of the truck. My other two friends, Elijah and Leon, were loading some boxes onto a dolly. "Hey man, take this to my room," Elijah said as he handed me a large box. I adjusted it in my arms, hearing glass clinking inside and smelling a strong, familiar odor. "Hey, be careful," Elijah snapped. "If you ever expect to smoke again, I'd highly suggest you take it one step at a time there, champ. Maybe if you didn't throw everything into one box without bubble wrap, you wouldn't have to worry about things breaking," Leon replied. Elijah's eyes widened, as if he'd just uncovered the mysteries of the universe. I laughed, turned around, and carried the box into the house. The floorboards creaked as I stepped onto the warped living room floor. I took in my surroundings, feeling the old rustic charm of the house, and made my way to Elijah's room. Only 2 rooms inside had been renovated: the kitchen, with its marble countertops and new appliances, and my room. I was the one who found the house for rent, so I got first pick of which room I wanted as my own. The other rooms, however, were as untouched as they'd been since the early 1900s, with gloomy wooden floors and peeling paint. "Buddy, what in the world?" William shouted from upstairs. I quickly climbed the narrow staircase to find him in his room. There, in the center of the floor, was a large lump under the wooden planks. It almost looked like Andre the Giant was buried right in the middle of the room. "I told you it was an old home, Will. Things shift over time," I said, trying to stifle my laughter. "Yeah, I get that, but you didn't say I'd have to maneuver around an obstacle," he snapped back. I sighed deeply and turned to him. "Look, man, we're only going to be here for a year. You've got plenty of space to set up your bed, so you're not sleeping on a slope." William turned back to the floor, disappointed. "Easy for you to say. You're not sleeping on sticky fingers by the Rolling Stones." After we finished moving everything into the house, we all flopped down on the couch, beers in hand, and began our much-deserved R&R. Elijah had already started smoking, and the room filled with the pungent aroma. "So, are we going to do some ghost hunting tonight, boys?" Elijah said, passing the joint to Leon. "Oh, come on. You don't actually believe that crap, do you?" Leon replied, rolling his eyes. "The guy blew his brains out on the front porch in the 30s. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a ghost floating through the halls. I mean, how do you think we got such a killer deal on rent?" William said, lifting his arms and mimicking ghostly sounds. "Calm down, it's all nonsense. You've just been watching too much Ghost Hunters," I replied. "Anyway, I'm heading to bed. We need to get up early to do some cleaning. Good night, guys." I stood up and wandered to my room. In all honesty, I was a little uneasy about the house. I'd always been somewhat skeptical about ghosts or spirits, as I'd never seen anything myself. But the rent was incredibly cheap for an entire house, and I wanted to save up for a trip abroad. I pushed the fact that someone had ended their life here to the back of my mind, hoping things would turn out just fine. I slid under my sheets and relaxed in the warmth of my bed. It had been a long day, and my body ached from moving. I picked up my phone, found a Rain and Thunder YouTube video, and let it help me drift off to sleep. After about 15 minutes, I finally slipped into comfortable darkness. My eyes shot open in the night as moonlight streamed through my window, enveloping my room in a comforting glow. I could hear the house creaking as the wind blew outside. I tried to sit up but found my efforts useless. Sleep paralysis was a regular occurrence in my life, happening at least once a month due to stress and a little help from my antidepressants. By now, I'd almost grown used to it. Suddenly, I heard a faint scratching noise coming from within my room. I braced myself, expecting to see the usual shadowy figure standing in the corner. My eyes darted left and right, struggling to pinpoint where the noise was coming from. Then, I started hearing skittering, like someone or something was moving around. A cold chill crept over my body as I began sweating profusely, my sheets becoming drenched. The skittering stopped, replaced by a cracking sound that resembled snapping bones. Out of my peripheral vision, I saw long, needle-like limbs protruding from my closet. They each moved slowly, tapping the wall as if searching for something. Then, an enormous, bulbous black mass began to emerge from the closet doorway. It was covered in tiny hairs, twitching erratically. A low groan echoed through my room as the creature finally revealed itself. An insect-like entity clung to my wall. I say insect-like because its head had been replaced with that of a human. Its eyes were darkened in the moonlight, and its lower jaw was missing, revealing a filthy, dripping tongue that oozed saliva. The creature was about the size of a twin bed and stared at me for what felt like hours. My heart raced, and I begged my body to move, but I was trapped in frozen terror. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. All I could do was watch the creature on my wall as it edged closer. Suddenly, it skittered to the ceiling, right above me, and started scratching with its two front legs, almost as if it were burrowing. Then, it began sinking into the wall, as though the plaster had turned to quicksand. First its abdomen, then its legs. Eventually, only its distorted head remained, staring directly at me, those cold, dead eyes piercing my soul. I could hear it groaning and feel drops of saliva landing on my chest. The creature let out a guttural roar before disappearing into my ceiling. My body was finally released, and I jolted out of bed, screaming. As I did, the house erupted in sounds of panic coming from upstairs. Apparently, I wasn't the only one who saw something, and unfortunately, it wouldn't be the last time either. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ghostly Gloom Stories.